As well as uploading your Excel spreadsheet data into Power BI, you can use Excel to connect to other data sets that have already been published into Power BI. Or even if you've connected to third-party applications like Salesforce or what have you, and pulled that data into Power BI, you can still use Excel and Excel pivot tables to connect to those data sources too. So I've got a couple of data sets published here, and I'm going to, in the data sets view, I can choose an Analyze in Excel option. And this will give me a file that allows Excel to go and connect to this data set live in the Power BI service. There's actually a couple of drivers that you may need to update, and will prompt you automatically if you don't have them. You can also go to our Downloads menu and choose these Analyze in Excel updates to go and get those. If you're on the latest version of Office 365, you should already get those updates automatically, but you may need to go and download them again. So when you then choose the Analyze in Excel button, we'll start downloading a ODC file. This is an Office data connection file, and it basically gives Excel the information that it needs to be able to connect to this data set in the Power BI service. So when you open it up, Excel will pop up, and it will be automatically connected to that data set, and it will create a pivot table for you. So I can see all of the fields and columns that were in my data set over here in the pivot table field list. And of course, I could just start using this like I would do any other data within Excel. The great thing about this is that whilst I'm building these pivot tables, none of the data is actually being stored in this Excel workbook. Everything stays up on the Power BI service, and I'm just connecting to it using Excel as a front end. I can use pivot tables, but I can also insert pivot charts as well. Choose an external data source. And now that that connection file is here in the workbook, I can just reuse that one. So I can build a little chart too. Let's take a look at our total sales by category and by class, and build a little report. And of course, being Excel, I can use absolutely any of the Excel functions, any of the features to refer to this data. I can add formulas or what have you that refer to it, and do much richer and further analysis on top of that data just using Excel. And of course, I can then save this Excel workbook, and it retains that live connection back up to Power BI. I can even take this workbook, save it back into the Power BI service, and then start pinning ranges or charts or what have you onto other dashboards. So it's a really simple way both to use Excel data in Power BI, but also use Excel as a front end to data that exists in the Power BI service.